Welcome back to everything you wanted to know about language acquisition but were afraid to ask. That's a mouthful of a title. Art, we've been talking about common questions that we hear from our language learners, and I think you will agree that one of the most common questions we hear, especially from our advanced learners, is, how can I sound more Canadian?
Well, I think we should question the idea of sounding Canadian per se, because what is a Canadian sounding person, right? Who can you, if I told you, what's this Canadian sounding person?
Well, we live in a city where 50% of the people were not born in Canada and are Canadians, so
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
Exactly. So did our previous Governor General, who was a Francophone and spoke with a little French accent, did she sound Canadian enough? So that's a great question. I actually do an experiment with my teachers, with the teachers that I train. I show them a short interview with an Aboriginal woman, and they watch this video, and the woman, and I don't tell them about anything about that woman. And when they watch the video, I ask them, do you think she's Canadian? And a lot of them tell me at the end of the video that she's not. They didn't think she was Canadian, which surprises me and shocks me. But one of the reasons they think she's not Canadian is because she has a slight accent on her English. Well, the truth of the matter is her first language is Inuktitut, and then her second language, the language of schooling, is English. And she does make tiny, tiny mistakes that do not impede understanding. Is she Canadian? So
Absolutely.
there's a variety of what Canadian speakers sound like, and that needs to be addressed. The way we do that in our courses, you remember, we use monologues from contemporary Canadian plays, and those monologues are done by different characters.
Like?
So for example, there's a monologue of an Aboriginal woman whose daughter was actually taken to a residential school. And there's a monologue of a gay Canadian doctor who lives in Toronto and has, problems. He's an alcoholic. There is a monologue of a Jewish Canadian from Montreal who immigrated as a child and, had adventures in his Montreal school. And so there's a variety of characters, and they all speak and sound in a very different way.
But they're all Canadian.
They're all Canadian, indeed.
Okay. Well, doing monologues sounds like a very interesting project, but it also sounds like kind of a daunting task. I know if I were a language learner and was told, here you go, you're going to present a monologue by a Canadian playwright, I might feel a little bit scared. How
Right.
do you actually step by step get to that point where there's a performance?
Yeah, well, lots of coaching. We have tutorials that's one-on-one when we work with our students, and we ask them to, first of all, consider what the monologue is about, and we focus on new words, new cultural context that happen there, but eventually we take them from understanding the context and the words, from what is spoken to how things could be spoken, depending on the character, depending on the sociocultural circumstances of that character. And so they learn many things at the same time: pronunciation, pragmatics. They consider body language, facial expressions, reaction times, emotion, but not in a general way, in a very specific way, in the way those things are related to the character our students are doing.
Great. And it sounds like you have really combined your love of both theater and language learning
Yes.
with this approach.
Yeah.
I know that's a personal interest. What does the actual research say about this methodology, the combination of theater and drama and language learning?
Oh my God, do you want me to tell you all about that?
I do. That's why I
Okay,
asked.
great. That will take about maybe 2 days,
Okay.
because that's a relatively new but flourishing area of research. There's so much. There's even a new journal that looks at drama in second language acquisition. And there's so much more we can talk about: how drama affects pronunciation, fluency, how drama affects second language identity, how it helps to form that identity, and many other things. So I think we should address that in a separate video.
We'll leave that one for next time.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and meanwhile, please leave your questions in the comment section. And if you want to learn more about the course we teach and how we use monologues, click on the link below.